Hey, I'm Oddzey, and welcome to the 500 sub special. And first off, I just want to say, holy shit, 500, that's like half a middle school of kids watching me. Which is pretty accurate considering I'm pretty sure most people that watch my dog shit content are probably fresh out of the womb, barely being able to utter the words, "Fuck you, shithead, I hope you become the lead actor for Jar Squatter 2.
But in all seriousness, thank you guys, but I know you guys aren't here for some sappy thank you.
You guys are here for the Q&A, but one more thing before I do, I should have another video going out at the same time as this one. I feel like a metric fuck ton of people that rushed in after I posted my last video would be a little thrown off by Q&A out of nowhere. So hopefully you guys should be able to watch another Funny Moments video after this, or vice versa. But anyways, on to the questions. First up, Noah asks, do you go to school/work, and if so, how do you balance it with your YouTube/hobbies, etc.? Well, first off, I just finished my senior year in high school, and I plan on going to community college to get my undergrad. And to answer the second part of that question, I kind of don't. They more so just balance themselves out. Part of the reason why this video is so late is because life has been eating up a lot of my time, and I haven't been able to catch a break. But now that summer has started, I can finally get my head above water and pump out as many videos as I can. Abony asks, if you could sit down and have a conversation with all the people who've inspired your content/sense of humor the most, what kind of things would you want to talk about or ask them? That's a great question. I'd probably ask them, why did you do this to me? But in all seriousness, to answer your question, I'd just like to talk about them and their journey and learn what it was like for them. Since becoming a YouTuber, I've learned to see other YouTubers as people, and I know that's kind of given to like always view celebrities as people, but it's a lot more difficult to do than people just talk about. And I also know what goes into making videos, and so I've gained a new respect for them, and I feel like I would just like to hear them and who they truly are, because I know most of the time, even when they're being serious, it's pretty much always just a character. There's no natural way to talk into a mic when you know you're being recorded. So to answer your question, just getting to know who they are and what makes them tick and learning about their hobbies. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Sage here asks, if you had to branch out to different forms of content, what would you see yourself doing? After I hit 100K, I actually plan on making an entire channel dedicated to fixing up cars.
So now that you have the hood open, you want to go ahead and look for the battery and take your sharpest screwdriver and just...
Spoonful asks, on a scale from 1 to 10, how hot is Martin Luther King Jr.? Definitely a 10, but I'm not sure if he would even be interested in me. Although who knows, he was very open-minded. Official Fast and Furious Vin Diesel Dom Toretto YouTube channel asks, do you lobe me? No, because your username is longer than your question. Sparrow asks, would you ever do a face reveal, and if so, when? Most likely at some point. I mean, it's the internet. My face is roaming around out there somewhere. You just have to go looking for it. Maybe for some big milestone way down the line when I'm thinking of retiring. But I don't know. I like having the mystery of nobody knowing who I am. It's not even necessarily for the sense of security, because I don't care if people come up to me in public and know who I am. And if my face ever gets leaked, I can just deny that it's me. And if I'm having like a shitty day and a fan comes and walks up to me thinking it's me, I can just say that I don't know who that creator is. But for right now, my face reveal isn't going to be happening anytime soon unless, I don't know, within a year I hit some big fucking milestone. Bumpy asks something I'm not going to read. Sage once again asks, if you could make this a career, how would you take that path? Keep doing what I'm doing and then start up a Patreon at some point, just because there's no way in hell my videos are ever going to be profitable in YouTube's algorithm. From there, I'll probably post a bunch of deleted scenes for patrons to watch for basically being my paycheck. It's the least I could do. Genetically Jack asks, gay? I prefer the term sexually challenged. I'm not answering either of these. Sliced Toast asks, what do you edit with? May as well go down the whole list of shit I use. I use OBS and Audacity to record. I also run my mic through Voicemeeter. I use Audacity because it gives me far more control over audio. So if somebody ever tells a funny joke and I'm being annoying, I can just remove my audio entirely so you can actually hear the joke, which happens more often than I'm willing to admit. For editing, I use Premiere Pro, and I make my intros and outros in After Effects and my thumbnails in Photoshop, all of which are not worth spending all that money on. Not saying you shouldn't have them, just saying you shouldn't pay for them. Chris asks, why do they call it oven when you in the cold food out hot eat the food? Because the oven cold of in the eat of the hot food. I don't fucking know. Minty asks, how do you decide when a video is done? It's usually a gut feeling. I was gonna say when I reach the 5 to 10 minute marker, but a lot of the time I'll get to that point and a bunch of the clips just feel useless to me, and I'll want to replace them with much better and funnier clips. And once I can get through the whole video without having a bad gut feeling about any of the clips and it's been over 5 minutes, that usually means it's done. Glacial asks, okay, actual question, how do you come up with good one-liners? Do you think of them on the spot, or do you take 4 tabs of acid then write whatever comes to mind in a notebook? While the latter sounds far more fun, a majority of the jokes I tell are usually on the spot, although I'll write down anything even slightly funny that comes to mind in my notes app. Like most comedians, I'll write down a lot of my jokes, except their jokes are actually funny. Like here, I'll sacrifice this one because it became a tweet, so it won't end up in any of my videos. I heard if you eat paint chips, you can make your brain change colors. Yeah, so as you can tell, not all my jokes are that funny, and realistically, most of the funny jokes I tell are typically on the spot, but some of the ones I write down will end up making their way into the videos, such as these ones.
My dick is so big, I can't even take a picture of that shit. I gotta, like, trace it out on an Etch-a-Sketch and send that to my girlfriend, you feel me?
You sound like the retard who fucking wraps his whole mouth around the water fountain at school, dog. Chris again asks, do you have any plans to stream, and do you plan on making different types of content? Podcasts, IRL, shit like that. As for streaming, I'm not entirely sure. I streamed once and it kind of sucked, but maybe in the future once I get a bigger audience. As for other types of content, I am actually starting a podcast with my friend Bumpy. We're calling it the Something to Do podcast. As soon as we get that running, I'll be sure to plug it everywhere I can, but other than that, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds. And last but not least, Mr. Lemons asks, what was your biggest struggle making YouTube videos? Probably motivation, the fact that this hobby takes up a ridiculous amount of my free time, and it took me a really long time to get where I am now and actually start carving out a place for myself here. Also, just at the start, it was brutal. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to talk to strangers, without everything feeling super manufactured. But I definitely think I'm past that now. YouTube is something I genuinely enjoy spending my time with because I get to bring joy to people the same way that my favorite creators used to. I know the place that I'm wanting to give myself on YouTube is anything but permanent.
I doubt that if at some point I ever get as big as the CSGO YouTubers before me, that the same thing that happened to them won't happen to me.
And I'm not bitter about it in the slightest. At some point, I won't be able to talk to strangers the same way that I could right now, and that's okay.
I just hope at some point there comes along a 12-year-old kid who was much like me when I was 12, who sees my videos and
realizes that what he sees is what he wants to do. And in a few years' time, once I've inevitably retired from talking to strangers on CSGO Surf, he can take my place. Probably in a different game, because I reckon at least by then, hopefully fucking Source will release another Counter-Strike game, but who fucking knows? We all know how much Source enjoys counting with their nostrils, but whatever, I guess. Here's to the next 500, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and the next video of me talking to strangers should be up real soon. See ya.